Welcome everybody to Extreme Off-Road Silly Builds, and today we're dealing with the 1982 Lancia 037 Stradale. Now this has 710 horsepower, 467 pounds-feet of torque from a 4 litre twin turbocharged V8 engine. The car itself now weighs 2,319 pounds, has off-road tyres, all-wheel drive and off-road suspension, and it can now do 0 to 16 3.3 seconds, 0 to 106.060 seconds, and going to a top speed of 220 miles an hour. So I could have given this about 64 extra horsepower, but I figured not only is that probably a little bit too much for this car, given it doesn't weigh that much and it's mid-engined and it's got quite a short wheelbase, but we also get 20 extra pounds-feet of torque out of this engine over the racing V8 that we could have chosen as well. So yeah, went for it purely because of the extra torque, but you know, a little bit less extra horsepower will also give us a bit more in the way of controllability, and you can see it by the handling, it's not that great. So yeah, we need that bit of extra controllability, but the braking, launch, acceleration and speed are all excellent. The off-road capability is really rather decent for a car of this type. Obviously this was a rally car back in its day, although this is the road going version, so it doesn't quite have the you know, the off-road capability as its rally counterpart. But yeah, still, that extra little bit of torque will give us a bit more oomph out of the corners, and we will have a bit more controllability as well with the slightly less horsepower. But at the end of the day, this is still 3.5 times the power that it had originally, so you know, it's hardly a slouch, as emphasised by the top speed. So yeah, it should be a pretty good car. The fastest Lancia that we've had on this series so far has been the Delta S4, which is still in a really rather impressive 6th place. So if we can come around that kind of time, I'll be pleased. And yeah, we've yet to take out a couple more Lancias, I think, on this series. I think we've taken out the Integrale from the early 90s, or the Stratos. So yeah, looking forward to seeing what those can do in comparison to this and the Delta S4 that we've already had. But for now, let's see what this one can do. Interesting to see what it can do in comparison to the Lamborghini track car that we had in the previous episode, as that was properly quick in areas, but its track sensibilities ultimately held it back a little bit. But this, obviously, even though it's a road car, it does have still some rally DNA in it. Even if we have radically changed it from its original engine size and supercharged input that it had originally. A few supercharged cars from the 80s that we have on this game. In fact, thinking about it, it's probably the only one that we have from the 80s that is supercharged. Supercharging really wasn't the in thing back in the 80s, it was all about turbocharging. For now, this car's doing pretty well. Handling everything fine. It's got good acceleration. It's got a solid rate of speed. No real issues to report. It's handling the all-wheel drive system remarkably well, given one of the few rear-wheel drive cars to beat the all-wheel drive competition back in the day, and it was, I think it is the last ever rear-wheel drive car to win in rallying. So yeah, dealing with the all-wheel drive system as well as it is quite incredible. There's only the mildest of understeer going on. Most of the time it's just gripping all the way, which is really helpful. Oh, we made that checkpoint. No, we did not. Slightly turned to the right a little bit too soon there, so let's try and correct that. There we go. That's the first time I've missed a checkpoint on this series for a while now. But that's not down to the car, it was more down to me misjudging the corner. perfect for that corner, keeping more than 100 miles an hour, and across the finish line with a time of 3 minutes 12.159. Now that beats the Lancia Delta S4, not by a huge amount, it's only by just over 0.4 of a second, but you know, beating a car by any amount of time is beating it, so that is really impressive. And it also beats the Lamborghini Huracan STO, and it's only slightly behind the Hot Wheels 2 Jets, which for the longest time was the leader of this series. It's been taken over now by 3 other cars, but yeah, that is still a really impressive time to get to 5th position, and beating the Delta S4 as well, the fellow Lancia. So yeah, that is really impressive, and that is a really rather remarkable 3 and a bit seconds quicker than the Lamborghini from the previous episode, which was the track car. But then again, this has, you know, some rally DNA in it, so it's no real surprise that it's quicker than that. I think the Delta S4 is the only other Lancia that we have taken out on this series. In terms of the cars that have been added via the Italian automotive update, though, we're quicker than the Abarth 595 SS, as well as the 695. Pretty sure we were it was quicker than the Abarth 695 Biposto as well, by more than 7 seconds, which again is really impressive. And yeah, they're the only ones I can currently see off the top of my head. But yeah, still, we're also quicker than other kind of rally cars like the Ford number 4 Focus RS and the Peugeot 207, I think it is. Yeah, the Peugeot 207 Super 2000. So yeah, the Abarth Fiat 131, another car from the Italian automotive release. We've also quicker than that by more than 5 seconds. No, by more than 4 seconds. So that, yeah, we're really quick. We're the quickest out of the Italian automotive release so far. So yeah, whether or not that will hold, we'll have to see, because we've got plenty more of them to try out. But still, that is really good car. Easy to drive, had no real issues at all, and yeah, properly quick, obviously, by the time, but also in terms of how it felt as well, as it did feel properly quick. Nonetheless, so thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.